Yes, we are ready to bring you two of our newest teams that joined LCS, 100 Thieves, and yes, Twitch chat, OpTic is playing now. First up, selecting the blue side is going to be 100 Thieves. Their top laner is Someday, jungler Meteos, mid laner Ryu, bot lane Cody Sun alongside support Afmu, which is their coach, importer from Europe, Coach Prawley.
And on the red side, it is OpTic Gaming. Up top is Zig. In the jungle will be Acadian. Mid, Power of Evil, straight from Europe. In the bottom lane, Arrow and support Lemon Nation with Coach Zaboutine on stage with them. Also coming over from Europe, one of the previous French casters.
Yep, formerly O Gaming caster. I was going to say that if you weren't going to. So welcome, further casters. So if O Gaming's the best team, or sorry, OpTic Gaming is the best team at the end of the year, we just know that Caster's the best. That he's brought them to greatness, and it's all up here. We got
Freak
this
logic.
Set. Freak logic. Caster's better than everything. Well, everything is brand new for these two rosters. One import that stands out to me is Coach Prawley. I like this guy a whole lot. Former North American LCS mid laner. Coached HUK for a while, now he's back in North America.
I, too, enjoy the company of Prawley. He's definitely a very funny guy, but he's also a very experienced coach. He's actually 146 wins and 90 losses as a coach, 61.9% win rate. Definitely more than respectable.
That's solid.
Extremely good results from him. And a lot of the players that I've talked to that he has coached have all had very positive things. It's oftentimes very difficult for us to judge how good coaches are. So we go off of what players say or in win rates and stuff like that. And all of the signs actually point very favorably for Prawley. And Rio there on screen is definitely one of the players that he has previously coached and had good success with.
He's coached them to the Worlds. I mean, it's really been a strong duo for them. And of course, Prawley, a former mid laner. I did talk to Prawley before the games. How you feeling? He's like, I don't have any emotions right now. Maybe the end of Sunday, I'll be happy or sad, but he's like, I'm just focused on the games. That's all I'm thinking about right now. No emotions at all. Now, of course, they're going up against 100 Thieves, or they're bringing glory to 100 Thieves. They're on that team, an org born out of Call of Duty. Nave Shot left OpTic Gaming in 2016, made himself that 100 Thieves roster, and that team, rather, I should say, in 2016 has been pretty awesome for him. Of course, we can look to their opponents in OpTic. OpTic, absolutely huge.
Yeah, I mean, both of them are very big outside of the world of League of Legends. You mentioned Call of Duty and the enormous amounts of fans that they have over there. But now they're looking to do something in League of Legends, and they're looking to do it differently. As Romain said, he started with bringing over a previous caster as their coach, and I'm very curious to see if looking to do things differently also shows up in things like Champ Select, because he's coming over from Unicorns of Love, and they definitely had at some points very different looks at things like On the Rift, like Champion Select, and Lemon Nation. He's one of the guys on this team that's always been one to push the boundaries and play more what he likes and what he is very strong at than kind of conforming to other people's meta. So although a lot of people have question marks around, the players on this team seem a little bit random and like thrown together, and where's the synergy going to come from? It very well could have already started, as they have been practicing fairly intensely.
Yeah, and again, both these teams really a bunch of newcomers coming together to play, and it's going to be interesting to see how that does come together. Overall, as kind of, I like this Romain kind of jumping around and hopping and whatnot. He's kind of getting ready to go on this one. It's going to be fun to watch for. I do think a lot of players and analysts are sleeping on OpTic a fair bit. I know what Jat and Mark said at the beginning of the show. They're like, well, someone has to finish last, and even if OpTic are pretty good, maybe it's still going to be them, just because it's going to be kind of a tough road ahead. A lot of these teams do look really, really sharp, but I'm very curious to see specifically how Arrow ends up doing on this roster, because a year ago in Spring Split, he was MVP. He carried Phoenix 1 to a third-place finish in the spring playoffs, and he was absolutely massively amazing, heads and shoulders above everyone else in the scene. Summer Split rolled around, and he was probably bottom 3 in the role. I thought he was doing very badly in lane. He was getting himself killed a whole bunch, wasn't even doing that very much in team fights, and he was sort of overly passive and not really getting much done. And I want to know which version of Arrow comes back out here, because if it's MVP Arrow or bottom of the barrel Arrow, that's a really huge deal for OpTic.
Yeah, if you put it in those terms, then that is a very big difference. I'm actually most curious about the top lane, because one of the biggest signings to me for 100 Thieves, even though Aframu is the poster boy here and he is a big in-game leader, is Someday. Like, Someday is an absolute monster on the top side. Whenever I talk to any of the top laners and you try and ask them, who's the best at least lane phase, top laner. Most people will have Sumday's name coming out of their mouths, either first or second. Like, this guy is absolutely a monster, in the 1v1 scenarios especially. And so then it becomes a question of how is it really going to translate into the team play? Because as you said, Aframu's been brought in for in-game leadership, and Brawley is very good at out-of-game preparation. Having those things come together early on in the season is definitely rare for a lot of teams, but we just saw it happen for Team Liquid, and it might happen for these guys as well.
Well, fun to watch out for as we get ourselves now into Champion Select. Early season power rankings put 100 Thieves as maybe a bottom-end playoff team. OpTic Gaming, though, maybe in that bottom 3 zone. We'll see what kind of play we get out of these squads, though, because I always like to bring up the expectations coming in for those who haven't been following the offseason. Where do people think they're going to be, and then tracking that throughout the actual game itself. Zig's another player that I actually have a lot of hope for, though. He got kind of lost in the Phoenix 1 downward spiral by the end of the last year, but had been starting to show some really good results, and we'll see if he can stand up well against Someday. Tom Kench off the table, Zoe gone as well.
All right, so for me, the mid lane trio has been pretty much purely Malzahar, Ryze, and Azir.
Yeah.
And we don't even see much variation beyond that, right? Zoe gets banned a lot. Sometimes you'll see Zoe in the game, but that's really the role with the least frequent variability. However, since Power of Evil so known for the Orianna, we see that even popping up in the ban phase here. It makes me very curious to see if he will conform to that trio that I really feel like is just the trinity of mid lane right now.
Sure.
Especially with his Orianna already being banned out.
We'll see what comes through into this one. I do really like seeing target bans, though, overall in League of Legends. Like, for example, last game, Evelynn did not show up in champs like whatsoever. Actually, every jungler was left up to be picked, and we saw 2 different ones here. Evelynn, though, away from Meteos right off the bat. Of course, he's a big streamer, plays a lot of solo queue. You're going to see his champion pool in the public eye a fair bit. I think Meteos should not be allowed to get Evelynn.
All right, Kalista going to be banned here by 100 Thieves, and that leaves one more spot for either a Kog'Maw or an Ezreal. To me, are the big choices. Of course, you could trade them, leave them both up, and have something like that go down. But absolutely, to me, Kog'Maw is just so insane right now as a hyper carry from the bottom side. He's a hyper carry that scales off pretty much one item, and you can already start fighting with them. So if you get some protection around that champion, everybody's very well versed in strategies that can revolve around protecting him.
Well, right now, 100 Thieves looking at Braum as their first pick. They're going to go for support yet again here on this one. One of that big tank up on that side of the map, and now it's time for OpTic to show what they've got for themselves in Champion Select. I know hearing the interviews from Romain and talking about their ideas for the team, I got the impression they wanted to be a little bit off meta. They wanted to be a bit innovative, and that was kind of part of the reason to bring in Zabutin. He's going to have his fresh look on the game. He's not, this tenured coach, and they're going to be a little bit more spicy with their picks. We'll see if that comes through later on.
All right, there's the Ezreal, one of the 2 that we mentioned. Obviously going to be taking that Klepto, trying to steal away as much as he can with the Mystic shots in lane. And Braum will do his best to block them. Aside from that, it's not giving away anything at all. It's just a very versatile AD carry to start with. But there we go. Acadian with his Rengar. This is a classic Acadian champion. Well before he joined even competitive league at all.
Before he was a jungler.
When he was just... there you go. Even top lane Rengar. But he was like this and Graves and those sorts of champions where he was spamming them to climb the ladder. And that's how he really got known. This is very exciting to see him back on one of these champions who we have seen have some sort of success here, and it is one that will be looking to get the kills onto the Kog'Maw.
And it goes to show you how much teams really want to play Kog'Maw. It's like, they've got Rengar, scariest assassin in League of Legends. I'm going to place him with no escapes, and he's real squishy because they do believe, of course, that Aframu can block from on Braum, that they can play around that Kog'Maw is that valuable. In the face of that Rengar, they're like, no, this is what we want.
And another part of the reason why I kept talking about Kog'Maw so early on is that with the Relic Shield meta that you talked about in the bottom lane, and Overheal, and all these sources of shields and healing that are all coming in for the AD carries, it feels like the hyper carries are the way to go because they're more safe than ever. And they can, and Kog'Maw, as we said, can still scale off of just a couple of damage purchases.
Absolutely the case here. They are more durable. Targon's Brace is basically 850 gold for like 500 something health. It's better than a Giant's build if you can complete the quest, which Of course, in 8.1, you totally can within about 15 minutes, so comes online when you need it for the team fights. Second phase of picks and bans have now begun, as we've gotten somewhat mirrored, but not exactly identical champions so far. Gangplank off the table. Top lane seems to be the target of priority right now. Ornn so far has yet to be removed. We'll see if we get to see that picked yet or not.
Yeah, unsurprised here as the mid lane trinity, as we said, would be filled in.
Yep.
Ryze and Malzahar are traded, and it will be Ryu with the more mobile of the two. That being said, in the last game, we saw the Ryze getting outroamed. Pobelter on Malzahar, because of the jungle plays that they were able to pull off, was able to get the first roam there with the Malzahar and made use of his ultimate to start some snowballs. So we'll see if Ryu actually will be better equipped to try and use that Ryze roaming around and try and influence the side lanes. But as you said, top lane is the focus here for OpTic, as they also take off the Gnar in addition to the Gangplank, kind of removing some of those from Someday.
So a virtual guarantee, then OpTic first picks top lane here and then rounds out with support at the very end, as that's the contested pick. Why would you kind of do that? And so Thieves can say, okay, what top laner do they want? Is it worth banning that one away, or do they continue to knock things off of the support pool? It's kind of both, or when we've seen us support mostly a top laner, you're going to say you don't get to pick that one for yourself, Zig goes somewhere else. A player who is happy to play carry tops, but against Someday, do you trust him to do that?
Yeah, it's interesting because Ornn has been so versatile in pro play as being a support or a top laner. Yet, despite this having such a low solo queue win rate for the majority of people, in pro play, really people have been able to make use of his giant teamfight ultimate so often that they're taking that one off the table because it kind of just wipes the screen with a giant CC.
Oh, sure.
Here we go, though. Cho'Gath can do his best. Not quite as big of a wipe, but does definitely have pretty big zoning for himself as well.
It does mean that right now OpTic are low on engage tools, though. Rengar and Cho'Gath both a bit hard to make that really happen. It's going to be a Sejuani pick here for Meteos into that one, and Azale might be happy. He loves seeing champions like Nasus or just kind of greedy, farmy top laners that can just easily withstand and trade with tank tops who can't punish them and just become bigger. Someday on the Nasus, I would love to see that. Instead, he's going to go for Shen, which is, okay, he's going to play a tank.
It's a team
It's the exact opposite. He's going to play for team play
champion
instead.
here, and we'll see if he's going to be able to add some extra protection to Kog'Maw. As we talked about, when you have this Kog'Maw, you're going to want to build a little bit more around keeping that guy alive because he can deal out plenty of damage for your whole team, and Shen going to add some extra survivability there to the core of the 100 Thieves strategy that they've been able to draft here. Meanwhile, OpTic Gaming, as you said, they're going to probably want to counter that with a little bit more of a guaranteed hard engage. I know they do have Flash Malzahar, they do have Rengar, and Ezreal can fend for himself, so they don't have to worry too much about the backline. It looks like an extra Morgana shield maybe for the Rengar, to ensure that he can get to the target that he's looking for.
It's also a good lane pick in the Braum, so the 2-on-2 could look pretty good. Ezreal definitely has really good early strength. You farm Klepto to get early Sheen tier, recall, show back up in a lane, and you start bullying from that point onwards around level 5, so that might be the big power spike for OpTic, but starting team fights looks really difficult for them, and, aside from Flash Malzahar or binds from Fog of War, which, I mean, if you land enough, it still works, but it's low reliability for OpTic.
It's interesting, too, because they have the option of trying to go through frontline, kind of kiting backwards. As long as they're not doing it during Kog'Maw W and he's melting everybody. A Malzahar ultimate and a Cho'Gath ultimate there is a lot of percentage damage and true damage.
Yeah, you can chunk someone.
So, there are some versatile options here, but it really depends on the spacing in the team fight. Because so many of these decisions are going to be based around, is Kog'Maw W available?
Very, very important. Cooldown Cody Sun will out-damage Arrow if he's got that one, but if Bioarcane Barrage is down, it's going to look a lot better for OpTic, so cooldown to watch for absolutely. Thieves, though, 3 pretty good engage tanks, and even the Ryze get to the backline as well, going to make it a little bit easier. But we are ready to go for this one. The first game of the season for 2 new orgs, the North American LCS, 100 Thieves versus OpTic Gaming, a rivalry born in Call of Duty. Not coming over to League of Legends. I couldn't be more excited. This one's going to be hyped as well. We got some fancy lights in the crowd, and here we go into game 2 of the day. And the opening match for both of these squads, 100 Thieves and OpTic Gaming hitting the rift. And let's see what they can do. Power of Evil's first North American LCS game for himself. Meteos returning from the streaming life, from the World of Warcraft life even.
Yeah, sure. Getting back onto the rift and into it. We'll see if he's still got the moves. He is on a tank champion and should feel pretty comfortable. Sejuani fairly simple for people to pick right back up. She doesn't have a lot of complex interactions. She does have a lot of bonuses with melee champions.
True, yeah.
And since we have a pause here, we can go a little bit more into those. Her and Braum, the two Freljord stun champions, can really synergize with them. But sometimes they end up stacking on the same timing, and you double up your stuns.
Yeah.
As they both stack on the autos.
Yeah.
But you can see some crazy CC chains from Sejuani, Shen, and Braum all kind of coordinating for those.
Absolutely.
What it also means is that your level 1 is fairly strong.
Yeah.
And you can really scare people off with a lot of those because Sejuani will start E for her single target jungle camps. It absolutely obliterates them. And Braum will often start Q as well.
Yeah.
That being said, you would be kind of chancing Lemonation Morgana. He's definitely known for this champion, and he's definitely accurate with his bindings, as we've seen over the years.
Absolutely is. So real quick, mouse issue for Zig, though. Looks like with a thumbs up from the ref, maybe he'll be happy to go in a second. Zig specifically. I do like, by the way, the teams that put country flags for the players on their jerseys. I actually kind of like that touch. OpTic actually representing 4 different countries: Canada, the U.S., Germany, and South Korea, with Arrow there, of course. I think it's just interesting. I think teams should definitely be able to all speak English or whatever a native tongue the team wants to do, because I think communication is very, very important. But once you've kind of satisfied that requirement, I kind of like seeing the multi-country teams. I think it's very interesting having the different cultures coming in. So, Proud Evo Fresh from Germany. Fun
for me, honestly, yeah, it's just more information. I like knowing more things.
Yeah.
And now you know where they're all from.
Yeah, exactly.
If you didn't before.
If you didn't before. Tristan Schraga can kind of do German R's. They're a bit different from other languages, but...
As you said as well, Lemonation with the accuracy on his
8
binding,
gold!
And he's 100% accuracy so far.
OpTic are rich, dude. $8 extra right there on Lemonation. He's making bling.
All right, we also should probably go over the influx of stopwatches.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't really touch on it last game because it wasn't important. There are not a lot of dives going on. But the bottom side of the map is just littered with stopwatches here. Malzahar is always going to get one because he goes Inspiration for sure with Spellbook. But you have the possibilities of both counter dives as well as being able to trade tower aggro for dives. So stopwatch is really both an enabler and something to dissuade tower dives. But we will see a lot of those extra uses down on the bottom side, and then plus, of course, Rise with the ultimate. You kind of get your free Realm Warp and stopwatch early on before he gets his Zonias.
A lot of money earned by Arrow. I like pointing out, by the way, that we've got Minion Dematerializer on Arrow here. I assume he's going to, at some point, dematerialize a Minion to get a Dark Binding through, and that'll be a fun combo to look for. Because normally you see, for non-mid laners, you end up seeing the free boots come through as the more frequent item purchase, but not the case here for Arrow. Level 2, of course, already there, and they've now zoned off the opposition down there.
It does kind of make sense here, right? Because you're thinking about how skill shot reliant this duo lane is. This is a heavy poke lane into a melee support. And as you talked about farming money with Klepto, Lemon's also trying to constantly farm money with the Spell Thieves, and they are landing, a lot of their skill shots here. So it's definitely paying off. The other thing with Minion Dematerializer, which is more of a point for mid laners and stuff, but you can the effects are noticeable when clearing out a wave to go look for roams or something like that.
Yeah.
With an 80 carry later on, it might be more noticeable for just kind of tending to your side waves and getting them in place before moving for team fights, but it definitely does add a noticeable amount to killing waves. Here we go for a jungle confrontation, though. Yeah,
Acadian level 4, and Media's only at 3 right now. Means Acadian can take some of these camps away and steal out. Nicely done. I want to shout out that Arrow had perfect CS in the first 3 waves, but put Cody-san under turret, and you can see a 9 minion difference so far. Feeling pretty good for the OpTic side, so a nice early lead for them, as Acadian's also going to push Ryu out the mid lane for a little bit and make him run away.
Yeah, Sejuani is very powerful later on in the game. She builds up as a tank, and it gets to be a very imposing front line. But a lot of the carnivore junglers, as they're kind of referred to right now, still are very strong and really push her around a little bit, or at least kind of dictate her pathing in the early game. And Acadian has done a very good job of power farming early on with this Rengar. And he should be up to a very good pace for that level 6 gank. So we might see him start off the early action. He definitely is imposing at the moment. The other thing, though, to revisit our bottom lane discussion, we keep talking about how much OpTic are doing for the skill shots of the bottom lane. Lemon Nation actually did this in Academy League last night, where he goes Glacial Augment for the Morgana. So you try and get the slow down there, and then that assists in Ezreal landing his skill shots, even if you don't hit the binding, but you can also hold your binding till later, and then any extra slows kind of help with that. Meanwhile, able to disengage Meteos with the binding.
And just the Arrow CS tracker, he's missed 1 so far in 6 waves. So
be
Arrow's doing pretty much perfectly right now in this landing phase. Pretty awesome for him. Cool to see that he's seemingly on that spring split form where he was MVP, because that, I think, is, again, such a huge point for OpTic.
Yeah, I mean, one of the worries for this dual lane was, we did see some struggles in lane phase for Arrow and Lemonation as well, and how are they going to do combined? This one, though, an Ezreal Morgana lane into a Kog'Maw Braum, I would kind of expect them.
It's an easy lane.
Especially with Minion Dematerializer to be able to have some good wave control, but they're definitely doing a good job, and that CS pace is only matched by Ryu in the mid lane.
Chugs a bag of gold, gets 100 out of it, so above expected value. Arrow's richer than maybe expected. He's getting lucky in this one. Lemonation just stole a last hit. Scumbag support right there. That's okay, not the end of the world. He has 850 gold, so he can easily get himself the Sightstone. And Arrow right now is actually on Sheen tier timing, so it's a good recall time for him as well.
All right, we should also go over some of the vision that's been placed. We've been very focused on this bottom lane and all the little intricacies of Arrow and Lemonation, but the deep vision here, tracking Meteos on Sejuani, makes this very easy for OpTic to call the shots in this game, at least for the early game here. This is pretty much Acadian with the run-of-the-mill. And you can see it now kind of manifesting in this Power of Evil invade. They know Meteos is coming over to his Raptors, so they're just going to come over and steal them beforehand. They have the Malzahar ultimate, they have the Rengar, so there's not a lot that Meteos can say about it. And he might actually, if he decides to smite this away, would pretty much be
close
the
to
only
6
attempts.
Good smite by Acadian, gets it, and he's basically scuttle crab away from having the ultimate available at 6 minutes and 20-ish seconds. That's pretty nice timing for him. Now Zig actually gets the knockup just barely on a Someday, survives this encounter. But Someday right now up 8 CS with a big wave for Zig to farm. Top lane going pretty close to equal, and Zig's actually already recalled and walked back once.
And having wave control, obviously always very nice for the Shen, opening up possibilities elsewhere. But because of the amount of control in the jungle for OpTic, it looks like 100 Thieves, not too many options to try and use that, so they'll just hold on to it for defensive capabilities later on. And they're kind of farming here towards their Kog'Maw strategy. At least get him to a Rage Blade before they want any real action to break out.
Gonna be fun to watch for as we continue to push through on this, and Zig under a turret is going to catch up. Pretty much equal to farm right now, so he is holding just fine against Someday. Let's see what comes through next onto this one. Right now the game is 700 gold in the favor of OpTic. They have just farmed a bit better in their early laning phase. Not for the mid lane. Ryu's actually doing great against Power of Evil. To point out, Boiling do not count as CS. That is not an inflated number for Ryze. He's just simply farming better. It's nothing donated.
A lot of people, when they're playing Malzahar, complain a little bit about trying to CS as well early on. But this is a pretty sizable difference here. Ryu definitely asserting his will a little bit in the mid lane, having some pressure there. And again, really have to keep on keeping track of the vision. Like, this is very good vision placement from OpTic early on. Complete knowledge here, of 100 Thieves movements. The blue quadrant's fully warded up, and then the red quadrant exits. So they will be able to deduce exactly where Meteos is at all times, and they're keeping this up with multiple waves of ward placement.
Yeah, really, really great props to them, as their first Sightstone was already done via the upgrade for Acadian. He's not going salvage, he's doing standard competitive play with Green Smite. Lemonation, though, actually did go for the early upgrade to improve his Tribute gold generation. He could have bought Sightstone, chose not to, went Frostfang, plus actually a Dark Seal as well, so heavy AP folks out of Morgana.
And it does make sense to me, because I'm a very greedy lane player, and I always do that for solo queue, but they are playing a lot for poking this lane and keeping up pressure in lane, and not so much for the roaming and warding around. And with Acadian and Power of Evil combining for a lot of that ward control, extra vision didn't feel too necessary from the bottom lane. So
I guess
really saying something that they have had this good tracking without even a lot of extra support wards.
Yeah, what I'm actually curious about then is, does Lemonation go full Frost Queens before Sightstone then as a result? Because I also want to point out, it lines up with what he's trying to do with the Glacial Augment and everything else. What's also interesting is the fact that we don't have Zombie Ward out of the bot lane either. That's a very, very frequent rune choice in the Domination secondary. Jungle is practically mandatory, support is practically mandatory, and while Acadian, I'm pretty sure, has it, Lemon does not because of the sorcery secondary, and so is not going to have those extra wards via Zombie.
All right, this is going to be interesting because there's a Shen ultimate available. Even though this is a 2v2 on paper,
They're going to land the stun, gets the empowered W up, but still wants to flash away. Acadian was afraid of getting stunned by one more auto attack and does get out.
Yeah, he also popped the ultimate, so that's a very good little skirmish for 100 Thieves. They didn't have to expend many resources. They got the flash and ultimate out of this Rengar, who had been controlling a lot of this early game.
We'll see what we can get into right now. Is bot lane could be a target. Level 6 available on everyone in this game. Again, that means that it's hard to fight when some days there almost lands the bind, but it's not going to land. Cody Sun walks away, but a big chunk of money back over to Arrow, who earns another 5 gold off Kleptomancy, plus the 3 from Bandit, and does the same thing again.
Look at the tower damage that is slowly whittling away down here on the bottom side. Ryan's ultimate, though. No, he doesn't have flash.
Nor any other way. Zout needs to charge up one more stack. Has the empowered W. Gets away from the root, and the blast cone going to get him to safety. Woo! Gets out of the root in time. Acadian's all right.
Yeah, he's all right, but he's definitely feeling the burn
as
far as the pressure starting to come back here from Ryu and Meteos, combining to really retake control of this game. There's double control wards up in the red quadrant here for Acadian, which are where his camps are too. So they should be able to kind of get some tracking done and reverse the tables here as far as jungler whereabouts.
Turning it back around could be really nice for them. Sightstone completed, of course, on the one side. Aftermoo has that for himself. Elimination has yet to recall, but does have his free boots. Just showed up in his inventory, so yeah, ward coverage could be a bit better for 100 Thieves. The game, though, still 1,000 apart. To be fair, Kleptomancy influences that a little bit, so maybe a little unfair to call it that kind of gold lead. That money's still in their pockets. Waiting to see what comes next into this one. Of course, we're well past the point of the broken stopwatches or commencing stopwatches being online. They're now appropriately telling time. Recall comes in, Iceborne Gauntlet done for Arrow. It's been seemingly more and more common. Tended to see Trinity Force in the preseason, but now that we've actually gotten a competitive, Iceborne seems a bit more frequent, even though he's not really threatened by physical damage much. He just wants the slow.
Yeah, keeping slows on the front line there. There are just so many frontline options, right? And it's an AoE slow, so probably get a lot of value out of slowing down the Braum Sedge Shen kind of combo. Plus, if they ever get picks, right? This is also a pick team. Yeah, we haven't really gone over the strengths there, but it kind of goes without saying. Morgana, Rengar, even Flash Malzahar ultimates, Rengar's even around, and an Ezreal. Like, there's a lot of pick potential during the mid game when people are fighting over wards here. If OpTic can roam around and try and use these sort of skill shots.
And speaking of pick potential, 1350 gold in the inventory. Elimination recalled and just went Frost Queen's claim, so he did rush it before Sightstone. It is all about then, I'm level 7, I've got rank 4 bonding. It lasts 7 years now as a result. Let's land a Frost Queen's claim slow. Let's root someone for 7.5 hours, and let's get a kill out of it.
Yeah, it's just rough for them because it is a pick comp, but you're a pick comp running into a Shen, right? And this is a someday Shen who's got a CS lead on top side. He's constantly pushing in the Cho'Gath top side. So someday, even though it doesn't look like he's doing a lot on the map and you don't show the tank v tank matchup that much, him simply being a pushing Shen post level 6 is kind of adding that extra level of unseen threat to the bottom side of the map.
Absolutely the case. It might be part of the reason we don't see nearly as many fights, and 100 Thieves may have actually read that partway through Champ Select and said, hey guys, I see what's kind of coming in here with the Braum. We know Elimination plays Morgana. He actually is one of the few players to have played Academy League. We've seen him bring out the Morgana already in North America, and probably might have said, hey guys, let's actually go for the Shen. They're going to go for some picks here with these assassins with Mal's Rengar in this mix. Let's do something else a bit. And that might have been the right choice, and we don't get to see those same aggressive options out of OpTic as a result. Still waiting to be seen, and maybe it will be 100 Thieves making the first aggressive play. We saw them trying into Acadian. He got out of it. Might be the next one soon.
Yeah, there definitely are a lot of wards around the Dragon. It is a Mountain Drake, though, and Mountain Drake doesn't kind of inspire a lot of confrontation among the pro players early on. It definitely does become a very big factor later on when you get into the Baron, rushing scenarios, but rarely will pro teams try and rush a Mountain Drake for like earlier tower killing.
Right, because if you could have taken the Mountain Drake, you could have done something else with your pressure. Look for the play now, an Arrow flash Q's on Elimination. He's going to pop the spell shield, the Black Shield on. He's going to land the bind, and that means he gets out. He played it really nicely there, waited for the Arcane Shift to come through, waited on the Black Shield, and thank for Lemon, saved himself with it.
Couple of support flashes blown there, so a little bit of a trade, but not much else goes down. Acadian is farming during this time, and Meteos showing himself in lane will give a little bit more knowledge here to the OpTic duo. Now they're playing much more defensively. They know that Minos is down here. And
on a ward.
They still know he's down there.
Yeah, he's on a ward on Acadian, means he can go to the top side and says, all right, what about blue buff? What about the Gromp? And he's going to look for it here. Could be a trade of blues if everyone reads the situation properly, but yeah, there should be a blue buff steal.
And even though they are kind of getting this roam up to the top side, the 100 Thieves will take this opportunity to take that mountain trade we talked about.
And can they spill it actually onto Someday? I'm not sure if he's actually killable, since it's a lot of magic damage on this side, but they have a 3v1. He's actually off turret now as a result. Realizing where the Rengar is, you can see he's hiding away from all of this as Acadian steals away. But yes, the mountain goes over to 100 Thieves, and they get a bit more for themselves, whittling back against that 2,000 gold deficit.
Also always funny to me to point out control wards that have lasted an extremely long amount of time, and rarely do we point out the ones in enemy territory. There's this 100 Thieves control ward behind a red buff that has been there for a very long time, and it saw, you know, Malzahar going for the roam over to the blue and stuff like this. That it's definitely a lot of value for them as far as just the duration. Meanwhile, Meteos back to bottom, camping away.
And it's the right choice. His entire west jungle is dead. He knows Acadian counter-jungled it, so I might as well look for the aggressive play since Air had been pushing so much before. Of course, he's not going to find it, not just yet. Now they're coming in, but Meteos left for Krugs.
And this is a Rengar with a level lead here, so even though Acadian he was scared for a little bit there, used his flash, used his ultimate, and had a blast cone out, all things are back up now. You know, cooldowns have passed, so no harm, no foul. And he does have some good farm lead on the Sejuani. Extra phage there. Still has a stopwatch. He could try and pull out some dive or you know, crazy play. So
yeah, he's up 6 camps right now in farm. That's actually really, really well done by Acadian. That's why he's got that level lead. And one thing we talk about is, it was mentioned I think in the pre-show as well, is catch-up experience is less good now in the jungle. So if you can get the lead, you can keep it much more frequently, and Meteos may just remain a level down as a result. Acadian close to 11 here. He's got the control knowing that he's safe to do this. But of course, the next recall has come through for the bot laners as Cody's Son's got himself a Ninja Tabby already, and he's pretty close to finishing. Actually, he's already completed a support quest, so he's quite durable, especially against the Rengar and Ezreal.
All right, buddy. We got Rengar bottom this time. And Shen, Stand United's ready, but he's right next to Cho'Gath, so it could be interrupted. Yeah. You can still add the shield, so it's still significant for skirmishes. But I think this low health tower is going to attract our first big confrontation.
Looks like this could be the case right here. Kane's coming down PoE as well. This could be at least 4. We'll see what Zig wants to do. Bind lands, but the turret is all they're going to get just yet. Woo. They needed to whittle that one down, and 17 minutes of hardcore effort has allowed them to knock down first turret of the game via landing phase victories and an attempted roam.
What a big confrontation.
Woo! The structure fell. It didn't have legs to run away. And it is the first casualty.
Unlucky.
And turrets don't move.
We keep on seeing this happen, but it looks like Lemonation just continually spamming his Frost Queens.
Yeah.
For a lot of pseudo vision, I guess, because we mentioned, oh, you know, he didn't rush into the Sightstone.
Yeah.
But rushing into Frost Queens, especially with the Glacial Augment, has been not only giving them this pseudo vision, but also very annoying and slowing down the enemy members and kind of reducing the mobility that they have there. So he's definitely kind of spamming that off cooldown and getting some high value there in addition to the gold.
Yeah. And I don't think the ghost hitting should give him gold. The tooltip says damaging spells and attacks against champions will give you the tribute passive, but at the very least he's,
I'm not saying that the ghost will give him gold.
I was making sure. I'm just sort of illustrating that wouldn't be happening regardless. And right now, Zig just under the turret and a 1v2. Make that a 1v3. The rest of the team coming, and Shen's showing up as well. This could be the first death. He's got no way out, and Meteos gets the first blood out of his first team. The first game in this one there is going to be the knockdown on the turret as well. There's going to be a trade, though, as the teams continue pushing in this sort of 3v0.
There's your Shen ultimate. They make the play on bottom side and barely get some early turrets here. 2-1 for OpTic. They're going to keep on pressing on second, but so are 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty equal crit on this one. Kog'Maw's going to feel pretty good with his high attack speed. The Rage Blade in there as well. Plenty of extra attack damage on this, and it's going to be a trade of tier 2s. But as we can see, it's fast for 100 Thieves right there. OpTic Gaming going to let Arrow knock this last one down, but they're now going to be about 10 seconds slower on the play.
Sizable little gold lead here for OpTic, as well as some extra time with which they can go Ping on Rift Trail. Doesn't look like there we go. Starting it up. So they should be able to get the eye as well. And since they already have this turret lead, and they're the ones with you know, Rengar and the pick composition we talked about, the Ghosties come out, they want more room to work with. Sounds a little weird against a team with a Shen, but I think the advantage is still there for the OpTic side.
Yeah.
With how many little synergies they have coming together.
I think they're on some pretty big power spikes right now. They've gotten actually 2 Quicksilver Sashes forced to be picked up out of 100 Thieves, which, hey, those are good. Actually 3 as he's pointing out. Yeah, there's actually one of the Braum as well. Afro's got one. So, I mean, that's 4,000 gold or 3,900 spent on that, which, yes, it will neuter what PoE can do, but in like direct fight power, those stats aren't nearly as effective. So this can actually kind of continue to push leads for OpTic here.
Meanwhile, Someday with this Titanic Hydra trying to get control of the wave. Totally shove up here into Zig. Cho'Gath, though, infinite sustain basically off of the minions. No problem holding there. And it really does now become about cooldown management. There's a little bit of time left on Shen Ultimate, and Rengar and everything else are definitely ready to go for OpTic. So if they keep up the pace and push tempo on this, in addition to their small little gold lead that they have here, they could continue to create plays. But that's why Meteos is standing in that tri-bush. You know, 100 Thieves are playing defensively, kind of trying to guard against those sorts of plays.
So it comes into this one. Shenalty, I believe, not quite up, but very, very soon on this one. The damage on the bot side. The suppression there as well. He does not have that Quicksilver Sash. The flash. Something trying to get away with it. Flash and jump in for a little bit more damage. He's going to jump forward as well. Akadi wants to do some more to this one. Something getting low and low and low. And the double knock up in from Zig. He's going to get shot down. Nice kill picked up, but a trade on the top side, a tower dive. Courtesy of Meteos & Co. actually getting a kill across. Afro just barely survived it. Meteos the same. It's actually a trade of 1-for-1 in kills in top lane under fire.
And the Rift Herald, remember, OpTic have that one already, so they're going to push right down mid lane. And then Rift Herald could go for number 2 here. Plus, there is an Ocean Drake up to retreat to afterwards, so there are a lot of objectives that could chain for OpTic.
A lot of damage up on this one. Zig has the ulti, puts the damage in, but were you going to stay alive? QS is out of some of the CC, and yes, 2 turrets down in the mid lane. Another +1 turret trade for OpTic, getting a bit farther ahead on this.
Yep, there's the pings down onto the Drake because the Rift Herald still needs to be dealt with by 100 Thieves, and it's an easy move over. So OpTic game, let's take a look at this tower dive on top side. Meteos goes in, they put the Black Shield on Arrow, and he also has double stopwatches for both of them. That's why Aphromoo and Meteos both got very low in it. But look at this!
What a great play at 100 Thieves, looking for a lot on this bear, and no one's really in range to stop it. It would have to be a miracle steal. It's not going to come through. Meteos lands the smite, and what a great Baron sneak. But this might be a battle still coming through. Elimination wants in. He's going to find a binding, and QSS out from Someday. The 4th now on the team. He's going to walk away.
Oh my goodness. OpTic retreat back to that objective that was so clear to all of us, yet it was also clear to 100 Thieves, and they took the opportunity to take a risk, rush onto Baron, and were successful. Huge pickup for them, because otherwise it was about to snowball in OpTic's favor.
It absolutely was. So now OpTic has to kind of lick the wounds. They're only down 1,000 gold, but against a Baron buff, sorry, OpTic, yeah, 100 Thieves down 1,000 gold, but with the Baron buff on, they've got better stats right now. You have to imagine they've now got a bit of map pressure as we look at your Ace Predator replay, I have to believe, and here comes that play on Baron.
Rise, oh my god, Rise in competitive just allows for so many quick plays like this. They use Shen staying united, and they're basically instantly inside the Baron pit, countering with the big objective here, and now they're the ones who get to push onto the turret. And during that time, they didn't even pick up the Drake because they had to run immediately over to try and answer. What a huge turn of events. This is why Rise is so highly prioritized by pro players, not only because of the damage output and the ability to side lane, but the big plays that can completely change the game.
We'll see if that can keep going on right here. As a blue buff able to be grabbed pretty securely by Power of Evil. Now a QSS pop by Ryu getting away from this, pops the Black Shield, but nothing yet to be had. Elimination puts a couple of glacial slows down. Doesn't seem to matter just yet though, and have to go to the mid lane siege, but how much threat is anyone really under when Malzahar was last seen in the bottom lane a couple seconds ago, and his turret taking a lot of punishment with those very tanky minions.
All right, remember, this is 100 Thieves strategy that is built around Cody Sun, around this Kog'Maw. He's got his own QSS, he has his Rage Blade, and they have plenty of tanks to protect him. So it's all about working around his W cooldown and the damage he can output during that duration.
There we go, the turret's starting to fall 4-5. The score's getting a little bit closer here as 100 Thieves now about to tie the gold income up for the first time all game. A little bit of slow landed, and a shoot up for Afro means he's just fine here into this one. Team ready to defend. 4 right there, and a Cajun running around the outside. Shouldn't get found, and indeed won't. Looks like we've got another brief respite. The waves get cleared out.
2 more waves worth of Baron buff for 100 Thieves left, so they can keep up this pressure. They do have 2 good split pushers, Ryze and Shen. Both have teleport available, and they're trying to get all 3 pushing.
Let's see what these teams can find. Baron buff timing out in 45 seconds, so it looks like maybe no more turrets left to siege. Bot lane tier 2 was already felled a while ago in that trade, so not much for Ryu to attack right now. We've now gotten back to a tied game here as the resets come through for one last time. 30 seconds left in the buff. Use the empowered recall to get back on the map and spend all their hard-earned gold. 100 Thieves now open to that. Great moment of shot calling when I'll turn them into a victory here as they've caught up from those early game rough laning phases. Red buff goes to Arrow. Back to the lane he goes, and no longer has that farm lead over Cody's Sun, though this Kog'Maw doing very well. Breaking 10 CS per minute. Ryu doing the same here on this, and yeah, that's going to be a very scary, very rich Cog. As the Wit's End is done, he can start chunking down that front line.
Yeah, I mean, now most of it is about theory crafting how this 5-on-5 is going to go, because 100 Thieves being the ones with the priority, and the ones with double teleports ready, Shen and all that, are going to be very ready to group up around him. And it's going to be about how can they actually get through to either stop the damage for long enough to kill a tank or actually taking down that 80 carry.
I don't know if you called this out, but there's a Face the Mountain on Meteos' Sejuani right now. He actually chose to opt into a targeted shield item. It's going to take him a while to get the tribute, or not tribute, but the quest done to give himself the bigger shield, but targeted shield to Cody's Sun saying, no, you really are going to carry us this time.
I mean, support items, as we've kind of been the theme here.
Yeah.
We've been talking about how powerful they are. It's funny that Meteos, one of the biggest, haters of Locket and shield for jungle champions, is getting into it. But again, it is their win condition. They're looking to protect this Kog'Maw. So they have a Locket already on Braum. Now they've got another shield of the face of the mountain here for Meteos.
Yep.
And he's, he has a stealth plate for himself, so he should be fine on Sejuani. And it really is all about keeping Cody's Sun firing.
And that's going to be the case here for him. Looking over at the stats and everything else, of course, Cinderhulk has a % health bonus. That's kind of nice. And yeah, the unique active Face the Mountain shield is based off health. So you pop the stone plate, you shield somebody, it gets to be a bigger shield. Same synergy as Locket, of course. And we'll see what moves on in this one. One minor gripe with the 100 Thieves lineup is they're pretty heavily magic damage there. Kog'Maw's going to be well past 50-50 because of the Wit's End second item. So MR stacking could be a way to cheat out some teamfight efficiency for OpTic. And find another slow, and it's just not really going to matter.
Actually, I'm a bit surprised not to see the Bork instead there, since they're against the Cho'Gath and all. You definitely get some good value out of it, but we'll see here as he decides to go for a slightly more defensive option. That's always the highlight of Wit's End to me. It's not even about your on-hit magic damage that you're getting in Magic Shred, but it's more if you're really worried about being killed by magic damage.
Yeah.
So I guess a bit scared there of the floating mouse hard damage and whatnot.
Sure. 116 MR and Cody's Sun, I believe, without stacks. 106 without stacks, so it'll go up to 136, I think, is the stack limit, plus 30. So
he's got plenty because he also has QSS. So
well, yeah, I mean, 106 is the base stats, and it's going to go up a little bit higher. So he's a pretty big boy right now, and we have fully reset this game. 40 seconds on Baron respawning, only 1 minute on the Ocean Drake. But Thieves has still stacked those pretty cleanly for themselves, and we'll see what's next up on the plate. Looks like it's Baron control, the most important thing right now, as Meteos smites away. Probably his last camp he gets the smite with that Baron up. He must maintain a charge at all times.
Yeah. I would say if we saw anything out of the ordinary, it would be off of an OpTic pick. But barring an OpTic pick off on somebody, then it's going to be 100 Thieves trying to group up with their solid 4-man here with Shen splitting.
Ryu finds himself a little bit towards the Ezreal. Going to look for round 2. They're going to land the Q, and Black Shield's down for a few more seconds. Bind's not going to land, but Ryu walking up for more damage. Kites away pretty nicely. Knock Prison doesn't mean too much. Only hits Afro, and back they go. But with that summoner pop, Ryu wanted to get in. Couldn't quite do it, though.
Yeah, but now they've got the minion waves pushing, so 100 Thieves can move over to the main objective here. Baron is spawning. Secondary objective will be there later. Ocean Drake, not that big of a priority. And there's a lot of pre-existing vision here for OpTic, as you can see, well through the jungle. So they're prepared for Baron number 2, but will they be able to successfully pull off a team fight here, even being prepared with extra vision?
Well, Let's see, right now it's OpTic to get the time to run in and sweep everything out, kill some of these wards, and as long as Acadian tags them, they turn into zombies for their side afterwards. And mid lane priority looks like to be in OpTic's favor for a few seconds as well. Find if Thieves shouldn't have any problems knocking them down either. Quick toggle in the vision for my sake, and yeah, there's no sight at all for 100 Thieves, but it's all OpTic favored on that side as they now must face check through and find out what's going on. More spooky ghosts come in, and Lemon says, do we find someone? Anyone to kill? No? Okay, well, I'll try again in 45 seconds when my cooldown's back up.
All right, OpTic should try and shove this mid wave to get a little bit of vision due to the minions and some pressure there without getting caught. Looks like 100 Thieves are going to move it back out first.
The control ward dropped down, and they've got their own triggers back in the mix here on this side of it all. And they can find next. Arrow look for the poke, but again, everything's in fog of war, so they got to watch out for what minions could be up to. A ward finally spots him out. A little bit of poke on Aframu. Another shot on a Someday as well. Lands a couple of Qs in a row. And another chase in, down a half HP. Good damage out of Arrow playing at the knife's edge because he knew he used Arcane Shift right there, but Black Shield was nearby. The team was waiting for him, and now Meteor's a little bit isolated as well. Knockup not going to land, jumps away from it.
I feel like Someday there with a little short taunt was trying to bait out a flash or something, you know, threaten the taunt flash, but he doesn't get any and he got poked out a little bit. Yeah. It's not bad for Shen to go for those plays though, because again, this is the guy with the ultimate that gets you right back to the fight. So I'd be curious to ask him after the game or something if he's trying to play these mind games and go for things like that, but yeah, that's what it kind of looks like. Since there was not much other game there.
And if Thieves able to take a very easy and clean Ocean Drake here on this one on the bot side of the map. Someday himself had even built himself his own wave for the bot lane. He partially pushed it, but now the wave's going back to his side, so even further gold coming towards the Shen, already level 16. Now the fight in the mid side as the Drake was down, but a big Cho'Gath in the middle of the opposing team. Zig looking for something to do, but doesn't have the fight just yet. No knockup to be found immediate on a half HP. Finally loses the Frost Armor here. Slow on the Arrow, gotta be careful. Arcane shifts backwards, beat us at 2/3. Was again kites away, so Stone Plate down and no important summoners missing. Actually, no summoners, period. No harm or foul.
There is a timer brewing here, though, as Shen is pushing up to the inhibitor turret. So OpTic are getting into a very sticky situation where Impact, Someday's already got the minions on the inhibitor turret, so they're just trying to pull him off of it.
Yeah, so Someday walking over doesn't want to have to waste the ult for this and lose the map pressure. He saw the play coming in. They are rushing down the Baron. Arrow putting as much damage down as he can. Malzahar helping with the Void Link, but here comes the rest of the squad walking over. Gonna knock down some of these Voidlings, and Arrow with the Black Shield on again, looking for some folks to be found, but ulti in for Acadian, make sure he can actually see what's going on. He knows where all five are. I was sitting here on the menu wave, wasn't that hard to find out. Double knockup, not gonna matter. The Cody Sun is safe again in the front line. A flash out. Actually from Cho'Gath was afraid of that frontline damage output. Oof, Vine's not gonna matter on Kog'Maw either.
So OpTic successfully pulled Someday away from this split push bottom. However, Rengar ultimate down, now flash from Cho'Gath also down.
Just too tanky for it to matter though. The Glacial Slow is kind of nice, and attack Cody with one as well, but no in a rage to find much of anything.
Whew, a little bit of a grind fest here in the mid game. As 100 Thieves slowly trying to retake vision control here so they can force OpTic to come to them. You know, they're the ones with the big 5-on-5 kind of slow moving unit that want the engagement to walk towards them. And they have been able to whittle down a little bit in the cooldowns here from OpTic, but nothing really game breaking.
He gets to easily clear the wave. At that point, he can AFK. The entire mini wave is gone. Oh, no! They walked too far forward. He lost the E. He's got to go for one more with the Q. All right, now it's going to push. Actually, it's... we'll see. It doesn't really matter. It's going to stay at equilibrium for a few more seconds. One wave's injured, but it's also on his side of the map. He's going to cast one more time to make sure it does push out. All right, fine. It's definitely going to push towards 100 Thieves now. He's going to recall one more time. Def cap pretty close to done for this Malzahar.
Looks like we got a little bit more waiting on our hands as bottom lane is also pushing in favor of OpTic. So until 100 Thieves says Someday back down there to tend to it. Looks like it's going to be in the hands of skill shots landing once again.
Yep. And you can see that Cody Sun with the Ninja Tab, he can actually face tank a max damage Ezreal Q and not actually lose his passive shield via the Targon Spray. So far he's feeling pretty good about this one, but item slot still to come in. Only one slot to replace for Arrow, but 1.5 kind of for Cody Sun, as that Quicksilver Sash is not anything offensive just yet.
Yeah, we do have the Hurricane purchased a little while ago, so they've been operational and ready to fight with the Kog'Maw. But again, it's all about the setup to this fight. 100 Thieves have been diligently working away at this vision to try and get OpTic to overextend into a fight.
Dangerous territory. Gets the Arcane Shift and the Black Shield, but not quite in time. Did get stunned there, running away. The bind on the front line. They're going to stay safe. Arrow's okay. Didn't use any summoners for that one. But Meteos and Ryu sure did. A flash and a ghost use respectively. Now looking for the knockup. They're going to find one. And actually, Afro aiming the wrong way can take a lot of damage. QSS flashes away. More summoners down there. 100 Thieves have lost 3 summoners, importantly, so far. Elimination only using the 1. And now they go back up to this Baron area. Several important tools missing. A nice little root. Some damage, but the dodge is going to mean it not much damage. Another knockup, but will they chase through? Not just yet, as Someday runs away, but bit of damage coming across. Another flash being used. Power of Evil afraid of getting jumped on. Down to half HP. 100 Thieves now priority over the mid lane, but OpTic priority over Baron. And they're going to make 100 Thieves face check them. Look for the next play. Elimination in the front line. Nice juke by Someday not to get rooted. More poke out of Cody Sun, but again, mid lane under priority, or sorry, under pressure, and that's going to be mid lane tier 2 with no easy defense force. Meteos and Afro can easily hold the line and prevent a charge in. As they walk around, those Zig threatens, finds a knockup, and this turret will not fall as the carries have to respect this. But look at the damage up, but they might knock down the support. Elimination going to fall. He oversteps on that. The silence not going to mean enough. A knockup not going to mean it either. Is Something going to walk away with half HP. A nice pick comes in. Elimination misstep.
Ooh, Elimination, the squishiest of the members, does get picked off in transition there. And their minions had just gotten to the top side turret of 100 Thieves, but now all the pressure back on 100 Thieves side. They have control of Baron. They clear out the wards. They have a control ward inside Baron, and they've started it up.
5v4 Arcadian pops the ulti on Rengar, looking for the play in as Meteos waits around the outside, looking for somebody to jump in here. Realm Warp, they're going to go for the engage. 5v4, this could be a great fight. As they're going in for this one now, it's going to be Zig rooted up and stunned and looking for the plays now back on the backside. They chop down Someday, 1 kill picked up. Parville first row, but a 2nd kill picked up already. Arrow safe for the back line. They will knock down Zig with 1 more shot, just barely. The stun coming in, and Ryu gets himself a kill, but still another trade.
Oh, Arrow!
Huge stuff, an Arrow in the back line. Duels Cody's Sun, but no! Ryu there to shut him back down, and now Acadian running for his life. A huge trade of kills. Elimination wanting revenge. Ults for the damage output, lands the kill. And Acadian gets the reveal across. A power of Evil waiting around on the wings. Honeyfridge gets some health back, and that is a fight that was actually won by OpTic. They baited him, and the green wall did it right.
Oh my goodness. OpTic versus 100 Thieves here. Gold ends up almost dead even after this fight as well. Let's take another look because 100 Thieves have the advantage. They try and corner someone to pick off here, but they get the most tanky member here, the Cho'Gath. Power Eagle does get off his ultimate, if only for a little bit. And the damage return here from Arrow. Look at Arrow from the other side of the wall. He's going to jump over to finish the kill on the Meteos. Then he sees a low health Kog'Maw and he's thinking, I got this. But Cody Sun flashed the Q. And then that heal was from his own summoner in the end there. But Elimination's extra slow there. The Glacial Augmented Slow on the ground was able to last even after the QSS was used to take off the Ghost. So he couldn't get away.
Really cute stuff right there. Yeah, Arrow. Again, really good flash by Cody Sun to dodge the Arrow Q. But we are back into this one now. 500 gold lead for OpTic. You saw huge damage out of PoE. Certainly some nice hits from Arrow as well. But yeah, that Malzahar was absolutely massive. And Cody Sun, of course, in a very similar boat, doing just about the same amount here. Still, double Ocean plus Mountain generally means out on the map, 100 Thieves can feel better. That said, they are second to this play as PoE looking to solo the giant Elder Dragon. Came back from China after Worlds, ready to be fought here.
Ghosties go down. A couple of extra slows here, but Kog'Maw has his own Goop Trail. And they're both able to disengage off of that.
No knockup just yet. They dodge away from this one. And now Imperial Scimitar done for Cody Sun, adding a bit more lifesteal, a bit more damage to his repertoire. And we'll see what replaces his final item as he's still got that Targon's Brace to eventually sell that slot out. And it's going to be now, again, a Baron rush. And they've actually turned off some of the wards. So Elimination puts a new one down.
They're going to trade here.
Zig has flash, though. He can get in. Stoneplate already popped. Yeah, they know this feast is too easy. And that means you have to wait a little bit longer, trying to get rid of some of these wards. Again, it's in darkness, looking for the flash before. So they're going to try to knock one down regardless. Just put the poke in and flash chop. Zig wants it, and he's not going to get it. Meteos grabs him with the spite. Zig never had to press R. Loses his life for the play. No bear to be picked up. I like the idea, but the execution failed.
Here's the thing about Cho'Gath versus Smite, right? Cho'Gath Feast, you do have more damage at your disposal.
Yeah.
You can secure it if it's completely even and both freely get to cast. But not only does Cho'Gath have a bit of a cast animation, but you can also stun him. Smite you can still cast in stuns, only suppressions will stop you. Whereas the Cho'Gath can get locked up with crowd control, which 100 Thieves have plenty of inside, and he's not able to get it off. Meteor secures the Baron. There was in trade still for the Elder Dragon, but 25 seconds left on Zig. Means there goes 100 Thieves.
Oh, and a big taunt, but Air's going to stay safe for now. A route to the front line, not going to matter too much. It's a 0-stack Elder Dragon, so not a lot of stats gained. I'd probably still take Baron, even in a straight team fight. But the taunt doesn't mean too much. Someday now flashless. And the re-engage could come in because Zig is reviving in 5 seconds and has teleport available. Acadian
Going for the chain?
nope, just going to get himself the Raptors here on this and walk right back out. Nation again, not going to find his bind. Oof. Very tight game here on this one. It was definitely slow for a while. The first real major encounter was a 16-minute turret kill, but again, I think it's a cute idea by OpTic just.
So he has a black shield on him right now, then they break it, then they stun him.
Yeah, they got the damage in. He was not in range for the R before the stun landed, so he never had a chance to properly feast the thing. So well played by 100 Thieves to really delay that long and say, no, we're going to wait, we're going to wait, we're going to wait. He's going to go for the play, and they were right. So that's now 2 consecutive, very well-managed Baron calls by 100 Thieves to grab the Baron. Fights have been close, though, 6-5 in kills. Full build for Malzahar, full build for Ezreal. Half a slot left for Acadian. Ryu's upgrade doesn't matter. Imperial Scimitar, I guess, kind of hurts his top end on Rise. Attack damage not the most useful stat on the champion. And that small tax may matter later on. Media's going full tank, of course. Knight's Vow added to his inventory. Randuin's Omen or a Warmog's actually more likely to be his final slot.
All right, Baron push comes in. All waves are in control by 100 Thieves. They're trying to get, again, the split push going. Rise and Shen on the side. They both have their teleports ready. Actually, Ryu has changed off of teleport. Never mind. He's just using combat summoners for Ghost and Flash for the combat mobility here within the team fight. That will honestly be a huge decider.
Righteous Glory pop, looking for the play. Only a knock-up on the support. The rest of that team playing the backline nicely, and Sunday still just splitting successfully with his Baron buff. And that's plenty of attack damage, knocking these waves down, knocking these turrets down. 3,000 gold lead for 100 Thieves, which still matters a little bit at the stage of the game. We are not yet at the infinite item mark, so we are getting a bit farther into this one. Ryu splitting on the bot side as well and can easily traverse back to the mid lane as well. Mid lane under fire, stun not going to land, but the slow could be enough of a zoning tool that, of course, they've knocked down this turret. Zig once again looking for the play, but Righteous Glory this time is down. Now has to kite backwards, pops the stone plate, and will not get stunned. Doesn't matter too much right now, though, as that turret's already dead. A little bit of poke doesn't matter too much, though. The shield keeps him safe. This might be the reset there, as a couple thousand gold had come in. No, it's going to be 100 Thieves still staying out of the map. Baron is timed out, though. No incredibly pressing need to stay, but they will choose to do so, thinking they have maybe a bit of control right now, or maybe some posture. But no, as the wave gets cleared away, this is probably a nice time to go back, grab some buffs on the way out. The red spawning on the top side, the blue is up on the south side.
Yeah, it's a slow, arduous battle here simply because 100 Thieves...
Ooh, almost. Ryu gets it, nicely played.
They're the ones with the upper hand and with the control here in the 5-on-5 setup. However, they don't want to be the ones expending their crowd control abilities to initiate. They want to use them all for peeling for Kog'Maw. So they're just trying to slowly edge up, grind down an objective, and then back off before OpTic can catch someone, and continue to kind of huddle there as a pack. So get your side waves pushing, then collapse once again. Get your side waves pushing, and collapse once again. Now, the last step there is the exposed inhibitor, finally available. And OpTic are just continually biding their time, waiting for this opportunity, waiting for the snipe to come through, catch somebody separated from their team, or catch somebody off guard here, or they can try and whittle someone down.
All right, and Cody's Sun is upgraded now to Infinity Edge as his final item. He's sold the Relic Shield, the Targon's Brace, which is worth about 530 health roughly from that point on. And yeah, he's up onto 50% crit chance with 2.5x crit damage modifier, but that does make him slightly easier to be killed by the Rengar, who is going, I'm assuming, Duskblade last slot. Maybe Acadian gets the way in. Of course, those shields still obviously massive, and Cody Sun may never die this game, at least never again. Wait to be seen, though, as we once again have finished our reset, and now it's time for the Thieves to continue their pressure. They're the team with the gold lead. They're the one who are supposed to keep the pressure on. Elimination looks for binds, and Arrow looks for poke. Ruin King gun on him, can do some damage to the front line.
Right now we've got Ryu backing off of his split push on bottom side because the Rengar is there. And OpTic are doing a decent job of retaining their vision control and their defensive jungle here, so they have kind of kept 100 Thieves honest here. That's why they're playing so slowly at the moment and so scared, because one big pick and one big sort of little trailing skirmish there can turn into a pretty big snowball. But as long as they stay together and they protect that peak DPS Kog'Maw now, be able to pull it off.
Absolutely agree. It's going to be interesting to watch for. Just waiting to see that trigger pull as the item slots fill and fill and fill. 800 gold till Acadian can finish Duskblade or Yomos or whatever he's trying to go for himself. You saw briefly Zig wielding a controller, puts that down, goes back to the Spectre's Cowl. Winning a stack up here as well. Ruby Sight, so eliminations full build. He's got that 3 stack of control wards. Don't expect the Zonias, but it's a possibility, I suppose.
All right, Baron is going to be it. 30 seconds left. 100 Thieves laying the groundwork, getting their vision down, and they're actually in a position. If Lemon Nation stepped out of line, like that would be the one that they can actually burst down, even though 100 Thieves are mostly tanks. Yeah. They could kill him again if he's the one that's on the front lines. Yeah. And a Cho'Gath teleporting in takes a lot longer than it can take one of these teams to end game burst down a support. So could be over very quick.
Ooh, looking for Arrow, going to land the slow onto Zig. Stun's going to get knocked out, nicely stopped by Elimination with the Black Shield. But that was some damage coming across. The snipe going to hit Cody Sun for a bit, and look at that, Ryze says, nope, we're out of this one, onto the Baron.
Or bait? Okay, they're baiting.
No, they hit it, but they're not part of this one. They forced the blue trinket out, and they forced the ulti out of Acadian. The team's actually a bit split, though. They're somewhat separated, but there's no way in just yet.
Advantage?
OpTic, maybe. Powerville gets the push in the mid lane. A bit of a slow and a root, actually, on Someday, but Shen, a difficult target to kill as they are able to play for rewards. OpTic get vision for themselves, fitting to the team name.
Yeah, definitely frustrating here for the Rengar player, right? There's so many tanks to work around. And, Ryze has got his Zhonya's plus Realm Warp combination that's always so difficult to deal with. Feels almost useless to catch him out. And then the Kog'Maw is so heavily protected and always surrounded by these giant tanks. Makes it difficult to get your job done.
Not so far. There we go. As the waves get cleared yet again. OpTic now seems to be the one with the control of his own. Arrow with a nice little recall bait. I think he was trying to hope Midas would press something on him, but doesn't happen. He's just the one playing front line. He's not close to the Black Shield. Lemon has to come back to him, but he's just trying to get the poke and let his team continue to play for vision. Earn some gold, deal some damage. We continue this one now. It's the two-man attempt. He's controlling for his squad, and Someday doesn't see them in the pit. He walked nearby, but didn't go all the way. I think he might have been afraid of getting actually attacked by something. And it means this might run out of time. He just wants to check into this one. He's going to be in range, but it might be up to a steal, and it's going to go to Acadian. Just lands this might in time, the first Baron of the game for OpTic.
They did it! Sneaky OpTic. They had the control ward there, and it looked like he didn't get vision on any Voidlings or anything by the Baron, so Someday assumes nothing left there, and they're able to barely get it out. Midos goes over to check at the last second, but only burns a couple of flashes for their trouble. Now, with OpTic finally with the Baron buff on their side, see if they can actually put a dent in this 100 Thieves defense.
Let's see if they can do it. It's the first time I think OpTic have had control of the map in maybe 20 minutes or more. But now with pretty much equal inventories, and this time around wielding a Baron buff, you have to expect to have the possibility as who can stand up to Aftermove's shot calling. And so far, OpTic doing a pretty good job of it as we go into this one. And not going to land just yet. DOE, Arrow, and the rest of the crew look to go forward. Those are the damage dealers in this one.
30 seconds on Elder, as well as a pushing minion wave here in the mid lane for OpTic. So they have two choices, and 100 Thieves are trying to play the mid ground between both of those choices, which leaves the route for OpTic straight through the turret.
Yeah, it's going to be a slow move for 100 Thieves. They couldn't go right down the mid because of the damage output that was available to them. Turret down to 1/4 HP, but now Arrow under a bit of threat, can't go for much more. Keep in mind, Cody Sun with W on has a lot of attack range. You cannot withstand that kind of damage. Attempted flash not going to come through for Someday, but he taunted forward, seeing if he could bait something out of Arrow. It didn't happen, but did get the Black Shield down. And once again, OpTic goes back, but the next wave is here. They don't actually choose to fight with it. They'd rather play for Elder Dragon and force the rest of 100 Thieves. Ooh, that Vine could have been huge. Would have been good damage on Immedios. Not going to happen just yet, though. Little Crab is there. Zig again to play the front line. Glacial Augment means a pretty big slow here, but Yeah, it's going to be followed through a bit by Arrow. 400-point Black Shield keeps him safe for now. A stun going to be landed. Now they're going to go for this one. Up on the Guardian Angel to Rengar. Not the easiest of targets, but they will knock that one down. He's now resurrected. The re-engage down on the front lines. Looking to knock down Minos at half HP, though. He's going to be fine. Silence onto a Keating, trying to run away. He's staying alive a little bit longer. Two more autos won't actually land. Able to walk away, and the team walks away just barely alive. But health bars lower on OpTic means 100 Thieves should have control.
Is Cadian going for some, okay, just Honey Fruit, trying to heal back up, because it looks like they might want to contest this Elder Dragon.
Oh, they're trying to find him.
They got him.
I don't think he's got a way out. He is flashless. Cadian gonna die this time around. Black Shield won't matter. Finally, a pick comes through the first in several minutes. 100 Thieves gonna get Elder Dragon.
Ooh, the worst timing right there for OpTic, because they have two big waves crashing, but that is going to be 100 Thieves securing the Elder Dragon now with 3 elemental drakes, returning and defending, cleaning up all those minions, and we stall again.
They stall again. The bot turret will fall, so a bit more map pressure and gold towards OpTic. 6-7, though. The turret leads still 100 Thieves' favor. Top lane stays alive. Nice little wave clear right there, but yeah. Basically, 3 Ocean Drakes, 1.5 Mountains is the sort of effective stack total right now because of the Elder increase. And once again, the control of the map should shift over to 100 Thieves. Now they've got still those 25 seconds of no Acadian on the map. The Guardian Angel down also kind of threatens that champion. And with the 2.5 max duration of Elder Dragon, 40 seconds of which have been used so far, they should be able to win almost any team fight they want. I'm looking for mid lane.
All right, here we go. Elder Dragon buff on. The Baron is going to time out by the time Ryze and Shen get up there. And this is going to be 100 Thieves. Can they basically stick someone in place for Kog'Maw to attack for long enough? That's basically the game plan here for this 5-on-5, is grab anyone, hold them there so that Cody Sun can attack them.
Let's see if they can do that, of course. The inhibitor can't run away. Similar design flaw to turrets from earlier. Let's see if they can make that happen. But right now, the poke is just so good. Arrow able to arc and shift forward and backwards and play it pretty much very, very well. It's got to be frustrating to play against OpTic team comp, as you were alluding to before. Have someone stay in place. It's an Ezreal frontlining with a Black Shield on the team. And good luck getting onto those champions. Even with Midos having good accuracy, there's just so many bad targets for the ultimate. So far, not a lot of inroads, but Elder Dragon buff still on 51 minutes into the game. Looking for that inhibitor maybe finally to go down.
All right, who's going to step up first here? This little corridor at the middle. Oh, Midos.
They found a power vehicle. QSS is out for this one, but now the team fight in the front of it all. Half HP, and again, they find themselves on Meteos. Redemption to buy some time, though. Gonna stay alive a little bit longer. No big issues yet. Meteos at half, though, and the inhibitor still standing strong enough. Fine's gonna hit a mini, which means maybe round 2 comes back in. I'm not afraid of Morgana nearly as much anymore. The Dragon's still on it. They just don't really have that poke damage coming in. They can't quite force the opponents away. Their own Ocean, of course, helping with the siege. 100 Thieves get their health back pretty quickly between waves. Looking for the top. Again, not going to flash. They're going to put the Black Shield out, though, and Redemption popped yet again. Also, the Stone Plate. That inhibitor still taking damage. Someday at half HP, though, running a bit low, and maybe this means they're going to have to disengage as Someday out of energy and only 1.5k health.
Holy moly! They saw the Jin game, and we're like, you know what?
Yeah.
We can do it.
What's funny is actually in the first game of the day, Zen was saying, guys, they broke my record. Can we get the 80-minute game back ourselves, please? And instead it's game 2 to get this one out. I mean, no nice bind to the back line, not gonna matter. Good shield comes up for Afro.
We haven't even had an inhibitor cracked yet. This one is very close to falling over, but 52 minutes into the game, neither team has been able to take the... Oh, here we go!
QSS forced out, though, but that is a 90-second cooldown that Arrow has to contend with now later on in this game. They're going to flash in, not going to land the stun. Good juke by Arrow Arcade to the side. Again, down the front line. The damage over, they've shut down Meteos. That's 1 kill already. Looking for round 2 and after running away. Nice bit of damage into Ryu in the back line as well. The QSS pop, but Someday still slowed down. The spooky ghost. The Jack so scary. 2 kills come through. Power Mule finds 1. The flash in for Arrow, Ruin King for the slow. And now it's time for the disengage. They're not going to stop it. Out they go. 3 of them stay alive. 100 Thieves now to lick their wounds.
Oh, there's so much time now with 50 seconds left on Meteos, 60 on Someday for OpTic to try and recover, but they can't really go too heavily offensive here. They've got giant mini waves up on top side. Everybody's recalling off here, and even though the outer turrets are weakened, they don't press up.
It seems like their play is going to be for Baron, though. There's a distinct respawn between Someday coming up and Baron spawning 9 seconds earlier. He has TP, but not stand united. So if they clear ward, doesn't have a good TP way in. That might be the play.
Yeah, it could be, but even that is risky. All right, here's a good move there from Arrow. Arcane shifts to the side. And again, Meteos is the one player without a QSS. as we keep on talking about, for 100 Thieves, and he got Mal's ulted twice. And it does have tank shredding abilities because percentage damage. After that, all the slows that we've talked about with this team composition come into play. And here they go.
9 seconds plus 4 to channel teleport. 13 seconds of 5v4. Do 100 Thieves even bother to try on this one? They know it's there and no one seems to care about this one. They're not even going to attempt to make the stop. And that was enough time for OpTic. Again, a 13-second window. They use it, they pull the trigger, and they get the Baron.
All right, this is attempt number 2 with the Baron for OpTic. Last time around, they got stopped very quickly. Let's see if they can actually move out, down, either mid or top. Both of those are weakened, and try and regain some of this control.
All right, once again, pressure shifts to OpTic's favor. Baron buff on. Elder Dragon spawning more than 2 minutes apart, so unlikely to coincide with Baron in any meaningful way here. 55th minute of the game. Giving us your money's worth for North American LCS. We'll see what comes through this one. 100,000 gold about to be crested. 100 Thieves, 100K. Shout out the one guy, the audience yield 100K. Thanks, buddy. There it is. It's so beautiful.
Well, the other thing is crazy is this whole game has been within 1,000 or 2,000 gold like the whole time, right? So we've made it all the way to 100K with both teams almost being even like the majority, vast majority of the entire game here with this constant poke and slow from OpTic versus the just shambling 3-tank Kog'Maw protection squad on 100 Thieves. Here we go, though. Rengar ult, pop for vision. Turret is extremely low. See if they actually go in.
For the Baron buff. 4 waves to siege with. Number 1 right here after blocking it out, but these turrets regenerate very, very slowly. This damage will mostly stick. And keep in mind, top lane low as well. Mid has been cracked. Arrow's still pretty safe with the black shield on, but has to respect the possible re-engage. Someday flashless, but could still look for the taunt. And of course, Meteos has the ulti as well. Black shield once again on. Arrow able to frontline. Knows he is safe for a little while. Put a bit of damage on.
Red buff meaningful too.
Yeah, it's
definitely
good damage.
Adding some extra burn there.
Ooh, but the W on and 381 damage critical strike out of Cody's Son. Imagine he attacks you 5 times, you pretty much die to that. That arrow back to full HP once again, looking for round 4. And this one, inhibitor likely to fall. Afro buys a few more seconds with the shield up. But it still could fall on the end of this wave. And I smite for Meteos, get rid of some more of the minions. And as soon as Black Shield is back up, Arrow should be safe to knock this one down. Knock him into someday. Silence is well going to keep him away. One more auto. No, he's got to respect Ryu. He knows that Ryze can break Black Shield easily. Doesn't want to get himself killed for this. Gets slowed down. He's got to respect this. Another attack comes across. Coming across. Nice block there by Afram. And again, 2 more autos will kill that turret. The inhibitor, the stun's going to come across. It's going to be a slow field, but no stun. Onto the front line is Zig. He's all right for this one, though. 2 more shots. Another turret. Yes, the giant siege minion. That's the turret I'm talking about. Finally gets that one down. The artillery working out. And the first inhibitor to fall goes to OpTic. 56-30.
That intense siege, all for the first inhibitor go down. This is just one line of super minions, which, by the way, is pretty easy to deal with this late in the game. One line down mid lane isn't going to be too big of an effect. It honestly is just going to be about chaining the bigger objectives with that super minion line. It looks like they're heading back out to go to top side, try and make use of it. Maybe take down that outer turret, but still, it's probably going to be a similar story of these slowly but surely sieging down one objective at a time.
And it's taking so much. You talk about slowly but surely. I mean, it really is slow. And even then, it's not always sure because this was the Baron last 3.5 minutes and they got exactly 1 turret out of it. And they got to do it again without a Baron buff as that times out right here. Mid lane being pressured out by 100 Thieves, though. It means that OpTic has to react to this. They get the wave pushing top of him, but now have to defend mid because, of course, that's also an open inhibitor. And they have to deal with that. As the zombies fall, Meteos gets himself a bit of vision.
1 zombie falls, 1 zombie rises.
Yep. Gotta deal fire damage. They come back up. Be careful about that one. Now, the Elder Dragon spawning in 120. The Scuttle won't sync up with the Elder spawning. It won't give you vision over its birth and life, but we'll let you see, I guess, some of the wards come down around it. OpTic butting up with the super minions, looking to push down mid lane yet again. Everyone is out of fun things to buy. Cody's Son traded out boots for a, and his Hurricane actually, to go single target damage with a rapid fire cannon and a Phantom Dancer.
Yeah, because honestly, they're just trying to get one person down. Like, if Cody's Son could just get one person in place long enough to auto-attack them down, it turns the tides of the entire fight. And the extra range as well, you can really see, as you talked about, the auto-attack, single auto-attack you got onto Arrow.
Yeah. And Arrow has armor, is the fun thing. So, yeah, it can be difficult. So we'll see what comes through next on this one. Trinity Force now coming in. Cody Sun deals tons of damage. It's beautiful. Sold something off for that one. I don't remember what it was. Sold the Phantom Dancer for it. And I do like CDR. It's CDR and move speed. It's actually more than PD would have given you, so I kind of like it. But it is reduced crit chance. But yeah, I actually kind of like it. It makes some sense.
Elder Dragon coming up. Once again, OpTic have an easier time of shoving the mid and then trying to move over to this area. But currently, all the vision is in favor of 100 Thieves. And they're setting up right now. Meteos goes to take off the shield.
Okay, gets rid of that one. Got to be careful on a Ryu. Pops the QSS, gets away from them. A nice stun comes out from Meteos, but no one there to follow up. So even though he lands the shot, there's not going to be much. And now it's down for the Elder Dragon fight. Flash down, ult down for Power of Evil, but QSS and Ghost out for Ryu, which means now it's maybe OpTic looking to attempt on this one. They've got control of the river and mid lane will push in their favor, but Cody Sun gonna give that wave away first. BOE half back on the ulti charge. Ooh, forces the flash at elimination. That's a big summoner gone.
And that was close, and it looks like he burned his QSS for that as well.
Yeah, somebody's QSS is down.
Slowly chipping away at the QSS cooldowns.
BOE has ulti in 3 seconds, and Someday is now a viable target. Can't get away easily. Does have flash though. That said, he's got a good 4 to almost 5,000 health in the champion. Could be still hard to kill. Let's see again, as it's now 100 Thieves who control the river. Bind not going to land just yet. Ulti by Acadian to spot people out. Can't find it just yet though. Looking around the backside though, will they pull the trigger on this kind of fight? I don't know if he wants to go for this one. Aftermove says, hey, he's off to the bottom right. He's in the river. They can tell via where the mark is. Now they know he's gone up to the top right side. As the mark moves over to Meteos, they can kind of track him with that. 2 times out, nothing in for Acadian yet.
All right, big minion wave. They're timing this with that, must be quadruple stat minion wave on the bottom inhibitor turret. And OpTic don't know where to go, so this is going to be Elder Dragon for 100 Thieves. Baron's coming up right after, so they could transition right over.
Ooh, and that feels like a big flub by OpTic. They tried to play for mid lane. They lost Elder Dragon. They lost the bottom turret, and they don't have control over Baron either.
And there's no teleport on Power of Evil. He was the one over there on Malzahar, so they're rushing it.
And they've got time. Look at this one. They're not really even around, and the damage output is so high from the combo. Look how fast it falls down with the empowered Dragon damage output there. Easy spike comes through. What a great call by 100 Thieves, and a major flub at OpTic. They lost map control completely, lost all of the objectives.
Okay. They have both major buffs stacked right now. This has got to be the push for 100 Thieves.
This is the highest possible power spike 100 Thieves could have in this game, as both those neutral objectives on their whole team right now.
Unless they have Gathering Storm on everybody. And
that's true. That'll go forever. 7x Gathering Storm would be the way to do it, but it might not even mean that much at the end of the day as they look into this mid lane, super powered right now. Waiting for that moment as they wait for the next wave. It's here right now. The poke coming through from Ezreal, blocked out by Afro. They're going to walk right into this. But they're still not yet confident enough to push the team away. Actually, Cognac tagged by the bind, but Cody Sun is fine. He's got 30% life steal.
Someday is chipping away at the inhibitor off your screen right there on top side too.
Yeah, that's where the major pressure is, and they're playing it as a split, not as a 5-on-5. Someday's QSS is back up, so he is a viable split pusher. Again, they wait for the next wave, sharpening it back in with the Baron buff. 2.5 minutes on Baron, 1:30, let's say, on Elder Dragon. Actually, only about a minute left on that. It's timed out pretty rapidly here. Couple waves to play with Acadian spots the team. Multi coming across, bit of damage out there. Ooh, bit of damage out from the Ezra, but the inhibitor has fallen already. QSS burned now by Power of Evil onto the front line. They go looking to knock down Meteos. They have the damage up. They're getting close to him, but no, he will not die just yet. QSS now also burned by Arrow to stay safe. He had been rooted up by Ryu, but he's going to be fine. Inhibitor, though, still has fallen. Now Bottling going to be the target. This is down to 30 seconds left of Elder Dragon. And
Meteos should have Warmonks, so I think he can just heal back up to the passive of Warmonks there with the Sejuani, and they can continue this push.
They're going to keep trying. Top lane has a big enough wave to kill the turret by itself as well. This could be 3 open inhibitors shortly. The second one is looking to fall pretty quickly. Third one is now open in the picture-in-picture. And look at the damage out from Cody Sun. Feels no threat at all. Will not get knocked up. One more shot will knock it down. One more, I take it back. As the cannon minions break the siege. It's what they're named for after all. They're going to knock those ones down. And look at this. Yeah, these minion waves knocking top lane inhibitor down to 1/3 HP. But two broken inhibs means a lot of map pressure.
Baron is buffing up all of these minions that are flooding into the base as well. So 100 Thieves might have more than 100 minions coming into the base as well to help them out.
Shadow Hex in the audience following his new team. That was him down there, and hoping OpTic can pull the comeback, but now it's much more difficult. The 5,000 gold difference, not what matters. It's the triple inhib down that means it all. And they are hemmed inside. Double Ocean Drake means regen for 100 Thieves. They can stay in this siege for so long.
2 more full minion waves of Baron buff left for them. They can just wait around and whittle these towers down. There's nowhere else to go.
Comes the potential siege. They're going to knock this first turret down pretty easily. First one is gone. The stun's going to land the back line. The flash forward. They found PoE. Zonya's about to stay alive, but they've got the re-engage. Going to flash away into the back line. Acadian looking for Cody. Some of the shields are too big. It's not going to go down. It's going to be the Guardian Angel pop and the re-engage in the fight. 5v5 still, but who's going to fall first in the front line? Acadian. Not a lot of places to go. 1 kill picked up. 5v4. 100 Thieves. Looking to chop them all down. Looking to knock down another turret. Looking now for the Nexus. PoE in the backside. But he can't get the damage. Nexus to fall. The damage won't matter. 100 Thieves. 1-0 in the North American LCS.
64.5 minutes. They pull it off. 100 Thieves with the 3 tanks and Kog'Maw frontline.
Cody Sun 6-1-3. He did it. Well, not on Immortals. The question was he carried by his team, or was it all about him? Was he good by the end of the year? It looks like he's still doing just as well as he was at the end of last year. Most damage in the team by a long shot, 58K compared to 19,000 out of his mid laner. So big stuff out of him, a lot out of Arrow as well, as you expect from Poke.
Well, both these teams got a lot of stage time together. They needed it to gel. You know, a lot of these rosters were mismatched and put together from a bunch of different teams. Now 100 Thieves have found success.
Yep. So 1-0 for them. Sadly for OpTic, they have come away with a loss in their very first game, but it was a close one, honestly. And again, I think a lot of people power rank 100 Thieves as a playoff caliber team, and OpTic went equal with them. This was a very, very close game, and it sucks to lose, but compared to expectations, I thought they looked pretty good. But now, for more on that game, let's go back to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Freak. 100 Thieves coming away with their first victory here in their debut in the North American LCS, but it did not come easily here against OpTic Gaming, a team that you guys both have power ranked as your worst team in the league. But in large contrast to Game 1, there was just very little happening in this game. Why did it take so long for the victory to come?
I think it's because both these teams are new teams and they wanted a lot of on-camera time. So, you know, they were stalling out, trying to get the hour
brand exposure.
Yeah, TSM, we know them. 25-minute game. You know, we need a longer game for the newer teams.
But in all seriousness, where do we think the game time came from?
Yeah, the compositions kind of canceled each other out in a way. So on one side of 100 Thieves, you see Ryze and Shen, which is like a 1-3-1 composition that tries to spread the map out. And then OpTic puts together this Cho'Gath, Rengar, Malzahar, Morgana pick comp with Glacial Augment and Spooky Ghosts, so splitting isn't safe. And in response, 100 Thieves builds 4 QSSs, so you have this world in which neither team can actually engage on the other one, because 100 Thieves isn't going to split against the pick comp, but they're also not going to get picked because they've all built QSSs, and they're not going to kill the tanks because they all built QSSs, and it just went on for seemingly forever.
I mean, the fact that there were only, 16 kills in the game with that amount of damage dealt from these, from these champions kind of displays exactly that point. Even when we want to start fights, we're not ending them, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're getting disengaged midway through.
There were a number of fights where Cody Sun was chunking out vast chunks of health out of the front line and then couldn't actually get any kills, and it was one of those games where no one could actually execute at all in their win conditions. 100 Thieves, I do feel like they should have split a little more. Someday, a number of times, as the Shen has the way to get involved while also bringing the defense. I can understand keeping the Ryze around, but they never split the Shen after he got picked off like one time at 20 minutes. It just never happened.
I mean, that's definitely something to consider, right? They did have the first Baron of the game. There were 4 total Barons taken, but with that first Baron, not able to achieve as much as they were with the second one when they finally fell into that 1-3-1 situation.
Yeah, 65 minutes in. I think this is a win that neither team is going to be thrilled about, but 100 Thieves is definitely going to take it. It still counts.
We'll be back in a bit to talk more on this matchup, but before we do, we're going to send it over to Avali to hear about that win.
Thanks, guys. I am here with the 100 Thieves jungler, Meteos. Congratulations on the win. First game back in the LCS. What's it like to be back, and what's it like to return on that win?
It's really nice to be back. I've always loved competing, and last year was kind of a break for me, but I'm really happy to be back full time.
Wonderful. And you were open, you spoke out about wanting to play with Ryu, and Ryu was one of the main reasons why you joined 100 Thieves. Can you tell us a little bit about that relationship?
Yeah, I played with Ryu on P1, and he's kind of just a really nice guy. And a lot of mid laners are kind of more on the selfish side, but he's really team-oriented, and so me and him get along really well.
That's great friendship right there. Do you have any motivations coming back or any goals that you want to achieve during this split?
I don't have too many goals. I'm kind of just taking it one day at a time, one game at a time. But as long as we keep improving and have a good time, I'm happy.
Perfect. Well, you guys go against CLG tomorrow. Afromoo is going to go against them as well. What are your thoughts going into that matchup?
I think the CLG matchup's going to be pretty tough. I've always had a lot of close series against Rainover. I think he's a super good jungler, so I'm excited to see how he does. And I'll definitely be watching their game versus C9 today and try to figure out how he's playing and how I can beat it.
Well, thank you so much for this interview, and we're going to throw it back to our friends at the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Avali. I mean, in reference to that Meteos interview, we have to remind ourselves that this was one of the most, if not the most, dominant jungler in North America when he first came onto the scene, has taken a substantial break with intermittent stints on the competitive stage. But we heard the words out of his mouth. He's ready to compete again, and I'm very excited, at least, to see how far Meteos can go. Will he eclipse the old god of Meteos that we have that image of?
The 12.7 whatever superstar KDA jungler. I don't think that's going to thrive quite anymore. Different game, different time, but it's good to see him come back at a W in his first game.
All right, well, there are plenty of giant hero moments throughout the day and in this game, but our newest segment highlights the players who concede the need to carry and just think to themselves, I'm helping. Presented by State Farm. In his game versus OpTic, you see Afromoo is crucial in preventing a Baron steal at 38 minutes. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Yeah, and this was a very
Trying to get rid
dangerous...
of some of these wards. Again, it's in darkness, looking for the flash before, so they're going to try to knock one down regardless. Just put the poke in and flash. Chop Sig wants it, and he's not going to get it. Meteos grabs it with the Smite Sig. Never got to press R.
Wait. Sit. Don't do damage. He has to flash over. He's going to flash over and go.
Yo,
Cho's gonna go.
They're just gonna go.
Cho. I ulted it. Nice.
Nice.
And that's why Afromoo gets it. Everyone thinks that Cho can just flash over and feast no problem, but he was waiting with the CC, he knocked him up, he stunned him as Braum, and that's why he couldn't feast the Baron.
And confirmed by the audio, too. That's what I love, is we actually awarded this without hearing it, making the assumption that the players understood what they needed to do and executed on it. It's confirmed by the audio there. They knew Cho was the only threat. As long as we lay that CC, we'll come out clean.
Yeah, I mean, I think he flashed over the wall right near 2k HP. If that's any lower, he doesn't have to worry about doing any more damage himself, the Cho'Gath. So he needs to get damage out and then feast it. That gives them the time they need to pop that black shield.
Yeah. Let's look ahead for a moment. It was already mentioned in the interview, up against CLG tomorrow, so arguably a tougher opponent based on power rankings. Once again, for 100 Thieves, though, what's the confidence level or the takeaways here for OpTic? I mean, draft more tools, be more aggressive. What's the story?
Right. I mean, we knew that this 100 Thieves team was 5 players that haven't really played together, coming together, and they had 2 weeks of practice, as we got to see from some of the videos that they released. So still a lot to work on. You could see that game was pretty slow from them. It ended up being kind of a 5v5 where they just relied on Afromoo's improvisation abilities within the game. You need more than that, in my opinion, against CLG.
It felt like there were a couple individual mistakes as well. There's an opportunity for Ryu to get the first blood pretty early into this game. Missed a couple Qs on Rise, probably some jitters, probably a little out of practice. And hopefully you see those parts getting cleaned up, and then the good shot calling by Afro can be playing ahead with a lead that they've generated through plays.
All right, well, 100 Thieves, 100% win rate in the North American LCS. Coming up next, a couple more new teams take to the Rift as Clutch Gaming face the Golden Guardians. As we go to break, though, the ranked season has started, and the team has brought you the newest cinematic to commemorate it. Here's The Climb.